The unicorn shirt was the first sign. By Friday, the fifth consecutive day Anacharama had seen 7-year-old Lily wearing it. The faded purple fabric seemed to scream. The mythical creature's sparkling horn had gone dull with grime, its single eye reduced to a dangling thread. It was more than a laundry issue. Anna was trained for this. The professional development seminars had provided sterile checklists: poor hygiene, withdrawal, fatigue. Lily ticked every box. But no checklist could quantify the hollow emptiness in a child's eyes or the faint sour odor that clung to her like a second skin. During silent reading, Anna watched. Lily held her book like a prop in the bright orange beanbag chair that swallowed her small frame, her gaze locked on the classroom door. Every time the handle turned, her tiny shoulders shot up to her ears, a flinch so fast it was almost invisible. Anna filed it away with the other pieces of wrongness. The final bell, a sound of joyous release for 30 other children, was a summons for Lily. She moved with the slow, deliberate dread of someone walking toward a punishment as she packed her worn backpack. Her hands trembled. Anna knelt beside her. "Hey, sweet pea, did you have a good day?" Lily's cloudy, troubled blue eyes met hers for half a second before returning to the floor. A nod so small it was barely a movement. Anna pressed gently. "I loved your castle drawing. You have a real talent." But the silence was absolute. As Lily walked away, Anna saw it. A slight limp, a subtle hitch in her step she was trying to conceal. The knot in Anna's stomach twisted. This wasn't just poverty. This was danger. The weekend was a haze of grading papers and feigned normalcy, haunted by the image of a little girl in a frayed unicorn shirt. The limp, the flinch, the hollow eyes. By Sunday night, she knew she had to act. Monday came. So did the shirt. The fabric was thinner. Dark circles formed bruised crescents under Lily's eyes. During math, her head slumped onto her desk with a soft thud. Anna let her sleep. Walking the aisles, pretending to check work, Anna stopped by Lily's desk. From that angle, she could see the back of the girl's neck, peeking from the stretched collar, the angry, mottled purple of a new bruise. Shaped like fingers, ice flooded Anna's veins. It wasn't a playground fall. It was a hand that had gripped and squeezed. The professional checklist evaporated, replaced by a single silent scream. The bureaucratic machine was too slow. A file number wouldn't stop the hand that made that mark. Lily didn't need a caseworker in a week. She needed a shield right now. When the final bell rang, sending Lily home felt like an act of complicity. Anna called her to her desk. "Lily, honey, can you help me with something?" The girl approached, eyes fixed on her scuffed shoes. Anna knelt, making herself small. "I noticed you seemed a little tired today. Is everything okay at home?" Lily's body went rigid. Her chin trembled. She shook her head in a frantic, tiny motion that screamed, "Don't ask. Don't make it worse." Anna saw the raw terror, and her training warred with her humanity. Report. Document. Do not engage. But her soul screamed louder. She pulled out her phone, her thumb hovering over the pre-programmed number for CPS, then slid down her contact list, past her principal, past her mother. It stopped on a name that had no business being in a second-grade teacher's phone. Grizz. Her thumb shook as she pressed call. Then she looked at Lily, at the map of fear on her small face, and it was no longer a choice. It was an imperative. The phone was answered on the second ring with a low rumbling. "Yeah, Grizz. It's Anna." Her voice was a thin thread. "Anya." The sound of her name in his deep voice was a grounding force. "Everything all right? You sound. I need your help." The words spilled out. "I have a student. A little girl. She's in trouble. Bad trouble." A pause, not hesitation. Focus. She could picture him in his garage, the air thick with the smell of oil and steel, his massive frame perfectly still as he processed her words. "Where are you?" was his first question. "My classroom. School just let out. I'm keeping her with me." "What kind of trouble?" "She's been wearing the same clothes all week. She's exhausted." Anna's voice cracked. "Today I saw a bruise on her neck, shaped like fingers, Grizz. And she's limping." The silence that followed was heavy and dangerous. When he spoke again, his voice was flat, cold steel. "Give me the address. Don't let her leave. Don't call anyone else." "Understand. I understand," she whispered. "We're on our way." The line went dead. "We." He'd said we. She knew what that meant. She turned to Lily and forced a brittle smile. "My friend is going to come meet us. He's very nice. And very big." The next 20 minutes were suspended time. Anna gave Lily a juice box and a granola bar, which she ate with a desperate speed that twisted something in Anna's chest. They sat in the silent classroom as the setting sun cast long shadows. Then she heard it, a low, guttural rumble growing steadily closer until it vibrated through the floorboards. The sound of thunder on a clear day. It stopped directly outside. Through the reinforced glass of the school's front doors, she saw them. 3 enormous motorcycles, chrome and black, parked in the fire lane. Beside them stood 3 men who looked just as out of place. The man in the center was Grizz, immense, a monolith of muscle, ink, and patched leather. His long hair was tied back, a gray-streaked beard unable to hide the grim set of his jaw. He stood with 2 other men, a silent, intimidating trinity, their eyes fixed on the door. Anna's shaking hands fumbled with the keys. The heavy door groaned open. Grizz's hard eyes found hers, and for a fleeting moment, they softened. Then his gaze fell to the small girl hiding behind Anna's legs, and his entire posture shifted into something lethal. He moved forward and knelt, a deliberate, difficult motion for a man his size, bringing himself down to Lily's level. He didn't look at her directly. "Hey there, little one," he said, his voice a surprisingly gentle rumble. "My name's Marcus. My friends call me Grizz, 'cause I look like a big old bear." He held out a massive, calloused hand, palm up. On his wrist was a brightly colored woven friendship bracelet. Lily's eyes fixed on it. "My niece made it for me," Grizz said softly. "She likes unicorns, too." Slowly, hesitantly, Lily's tiny hand reached out. Her finger lightly touched the pink thread of the bracelet. It was the first voluntary act of courage Anna had seen from her. Grizz rose to his full, towering height and looked at Anna, his eyes like flint again. "A dress." She gave it to him. He nodded slowly. "You and the little one are riding with me in the truck." It was not a request. Anna scooped Lily into her arms. The girl buried her face in Anna's shoulder, a silent surrender to this strange new protection. "What's the plan?" Anna whispered. Grizz's gaze shifted toward the street. His expression was chilling. "The plan," he growled, "is we're going to have a conversation." The truck was an old, scarred pickup, clean inside. Anna sat in the back with a sleeping Lily on her lap, while Grizz drove and his friend Bones rode shotgun. They pulled into the poorly lit parking lot of a rundown apartment complex and killed the engine, plunging them into shadow. Grizz sat for a long moment, watching a second-floor window where a television flickered. "Anya," he said, his voice low, "you stay here with her. Lock the doors. No matter what you hear, you do not get out. You understand?" She nodded, clutching Lily tighter. Grizz and Bones slipped out, their boots making no sound on the asphalt as they disappeared into the stairwell. Anna's heart hammered. She checked the locks. Then she waited. Minutes stretched into an eternity. A muffled, angry shout erupted from the apartment. A woman's voice, then a slurred man's. Then came Grizz's. It wasn't loud, but it cut through the night. A calm, resonant tone of absolute authority, more terrifying than any yell. A thud, the crash of something breaking. Anna flinched and squeezed her eyes shut. "Please let this be the right thing." Then silence. A heavy, loaded silence that stretched her nerves to their breaking point. The stairwell door opened. Grizz and Bones emerged, walking back to the truck with the same unhurried purpose. Grizz slid into the driver's seat. In the dim dashboard light, Anna saw a fresh, bloody scrape across his knuckles. His face was a mask of stone. "Is it done?" she breathed. He started the engine, its roar shattering the quiet lot. He met her eyes in the rearview mirror. "It's done. They understand the situation. They won't be looking for her." He pulled away, leaving the dark apartment behind like a scar. They drove to Anna's small, quiet house. While she settled Lily on the couch with a glass of milk and a soft blanket, Grizz stood in the kitchen, his back to her, speaking quietly into his phone. "Yeah, the teacher has her. She's safe. No police yet. We do this by the book now. Get a message to Detective Miller. Tell him it's a code lavender. He'll know." He hung up and turned to her, his expression weary. "An anonymous tip is being called in, drug activity at that address. They'll be busy for a long time." Bones, the silent one, stepped forward and held out a canvas duffel bag. "We, packed her a bag," he said, his voice a shy rasp. "Just a few things." Anna took it. Inside, among sweatpants and t-shirts, was a brand new bright purple shirt with a glittering sequin unicorn. Beneath it lay a soft brown teddy bear. Her throat closed. These huge, fearsome men had stopped to buy a little girl a teddy bear. "Thank you," she whispered, the words feeling impossibly small. Grizz shook his head. "You did the hard part, Anya. You noticed. You made the call." He glanced at Lily, asleep on the couch, clutching the new bear. A flicker of profound gentleness crossed his face. "No one's ever laying a hand on that kid again. That's a promise." They left, the rumble of their bikes fading into the night. Anna slid to the floor, the duffel bag in her lap, and finally let herself cry. Tears of fear, relief, and fierce, overwhelming gratitude for the unlikely angels who rode motorcycles. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of official proceedings. Detective Miller, a tired-looking man with kind eyes, arrived the next morning and listened to Anna's story without judgment, his gaze lingering on the faded purple shirt she'd saved as evidence. Social workers came. Lawyers made calls. Through it all, Grizz was a quiet, steady presence. He never came to the house when officials were there, but he called Anna every night. "You good?" "The little one good." His simple check-ins were a lifeline. Lily slowly began to emerge from her shell. At first, she communicated only in nods and whispers, but the safety of Anna's home, the predictable rhythm of meals and bedtime stories, began to work its magic. One afternoon, while they were coloring, Lily spoke her first full sentence. "Can you draw a unicorn with a rainbow horn?" Her voice was small, but clear. Anna's heart swelled. It was a beginning. The legal system, spurred by Detective Miller and the evidence found in the apartment, moved with surprising speed. Lily's former guardians were deemed unfit, their parental rights permanently terminated. Anna was granted emergency foster custody. The little house that had been quiet for so long was now filled with the sound of a child's tentative laughter. Grizz and his friends became unofficial uncles. They never arrived announced, but would simply appear on a Saturday afternoon. Tank, a mountain of a man, would sit on the floor and patiently play dolls with Lily. Bones discovered she had a knack for drawing and would bring her new sketch pads and colored pencils, praising her creations with solemn gravity. And Grizz became her rock. He taught her how to wash a motorcycle until the chrome gleamed. He built her a swing set in the backyard, his huge hands surprisingly deft with the nuts and bolts. He never pushed her to talk about the past. He just gave her a safe present. One evening, as he was about to leave, Lily ran to him and threw her arms around his legs in a fierce hug. "Thank you for being my bear," she whispered into his jeans. Grizz froze, then gently rested a hand on her head, his eyes shining in the porch light. Years passed. The foster care arrangement became a permanent adoption. Anna Sharma, the second-grade teacher, was now Anna Sharma, mother. Lily blossomed. The hollow-eyed, silent child was gone, replaced by a bright, funny, and deeply compassionate girl who excelled in art and had a fierce love for animals and motorcycles. On Lily's 16th birthday, the party was in Anna's backyard. The swing set Grizz had built was still there. He, Bones, and Tank stood by the grill in their leather vests, looking every bit the proud uncles. Later, when the guests had gone and the five of them sat together on the porch, Grizz handed Lily a small wrapped box. Inside was a silver key. "It's for the '78 Sportster we've been rebuilding in my garage," he said, his voice thick. "It's yours." Lily's eyes filled with tears as she hugged him. "Thank you, Uncle Grizz." Anna watched them, her heart full to bursting. She thought back to that terrified teacher, her finger hovering over a phone, about to make a call that would break every rule. It was the single most important decision of her life. She hadn't just saved a child. She had built a family. Unconventional, beautiful, forged in a moment of crisis and bound by loyalty and love.